So I woke up last night and my first thought was, can I cast ice in resin? I guess we're about to find out. So there are a couple of ways we can do this. Now the first one, and probably the most easiest one, is going to be for me to mix my resin. We're going to degas it since we're not going to put it in the pressure pot. Then I'm going to pour it in, and once it gets warm and jelly-like, I'll try and force the ice cube into the middle. Now if that doesn't work, the next thing I'll try is pouring a base layer, letting that set, then we'll get the ice cube on top, pour some more resin, and we'll see if that works. But I really do hope the first way works best. I'm also going to add a couple of drops of blue dye. I don't think this cup's got enough room to degas, so I'm going to have to put it in a bigger one. So now that we've degassed the resin, it becomes a waiting game. I'm just going to wait for this resin to thicken up. Once I feel the time is right, we'll jam our ice cube in. I've just had a thought. If this ice cube continually wants to float, I'm going to have to find a way of keeping it down until it sets. So I've got this clear rod, so if we do have to use it, hopefully it'll disappear a little bit and we won't notice it too much. But we'll just have to see what happens. It's got to be getting close. It's getting really warm now. There's going to be a fine line between it being good and then just set, so we're not going to have a big window here. I think I better get the ice ready. I really do hope this works. It will be really interesting to see how fast the ice melts in there. Now we're getting a bit of steam. I'd say we're getting really close. There it goes. Not just yet. I'm actually creating some bubbles in here, which isn't good, but it's the only way we're going to find out when it's ready. Alright, I'm going for it. Here goes. Alright, I think we're in the middle. Alright, it's in. That's it. That's all we can do. Doesn't look too bad. We're just going to have to wait and see now. We'll let this cool down and set. Then we'll take a closer look. Most of you guys probably remember when I made the shaving brush with whiskey inside, or the bottle opener with beer. Now those two projects were done by pouring two separate layers of resin. And now I've been able to do it in one. I think before we take a closer look, I might put this on the lathe, we'll turn it down, we'll give it a polish, and then we'll have a look. I really hope I don't cut too deep. I guess if you see me get wet, you know I've gone too deep. I think that looks pretty good. I stayed dry, that's a good thing. Now I'm going to start sanding it and polishing it. Alright guys, are you ready to see this? Check it out. I think that turned out pretty good. So as a proof of concept, this turned out really well, but I think if I was to do it again, I'd use a smaller ice cube and one that was a nice square shape, and the other thing I'd try was put it in the freezer while the resin's curing. Hello from the future! Can you believe it's been 5 years since I trapped an ice cube inside of resin? I think we need to take a closer look and see how it's held up. Now the first thing you'll notice is that it still has the water inside. How cool is that? 5 years later and the water is still there. And also, look at how clean this resin is. Still just as shiny as the day I finished it. Who would have thought, hey, 5 years later and still looking this good? Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this Volt episode. If you did, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.